kill the Batman.
What is up, guys? Limitz here, and I'm bringing you another 1v1 for Halo Wars. I'm going to be playing as the Arbiter, and this is against the Olympians, and he is playing as the Brute. The Brute should win this matchup about 99.9% of the time. It's just something about Halo Wars that I've always complained about, and a reason why I think 1v1 never really took off and stayed consistent at high level MLG or anything like that was because Halo Wars is a really imbalanced and broken RTS game. It's really fun for the console and it's still a fun game, but in terms of true competitiveness, I think a lot of it is decided or predetermined on leader placements and what leaders are facing off against each other. And I just don't think that Halo Wars is a true balanced RTS as opposed to StarCraft, which is a lot more balanced in multiple ways. With that said, I'm going to do a whole bunch of in-depth commentaries again, or at least try to, and we're going to start with this one. I went Temple first simply because I need to get my supply elevator. There's a couple things I need to be careful about. If the Brute comes straight to my supply elevator, he can take that, and if he does that, I'll be in trouble, especially if he actually gets it. It looks like Olympians is not going to be doing that this game, and he's also late with his chopper, so he's not going to be spawn locking my suicide grunt. And so that's the first mistake that Olympians is going to make here. Normally a good Brute will sit on top of that and not let me get that through, and that should be the game in an instant, simply because the Brute will get the elevator and I won't. So my plan this game is to go double haul. I pretty much have to go double haul. And since I'm going double haul, I'm also going to bless both my pads. The reason I'm going to be blessing both my pads, it's going to be giving me a better eco, and I know it leaves me vulnerable, especially if I get rushed, but blessing both those pads gives the Brute an option. You can either hit my double hauls and stop me from pumping the jackals, or you can go straight for my eco. If you go straight for my eco, I'm going to have a whole bunch of jackals already out. My plan of attack here, though, is I'm going to be going straight to the Brute's base and porting in jackals to prevent him from getting anything over to my base, which would be an auto win in this case, because I know that he's going Brutes and Grunts. The problem is right there you can see he unlocked and he's already at my base, and my Arbiter is way out of position, so basically it's not going to be worth me recalling. Instead, I'm going to unlock my jackals and try and defend with what I can. Now, key right here is that I have my rally right next to my base. That means my base, the main part, and my temple is going to be sponging some of that vortex, so he can't kill all my jackals really easily. The bad thing is I can't really get to those Brutes and Grunts. But once again, I'm not in too terrible of shape because I do have an amazing economy right now. I am going to lose that haul, but my jackals are all still alive, and I'm going to be able to play some pretty good defense here. You can notice that since he's vortexing, he's not going to be able to pump units as well as he should be able to, even though he does have the supply elevator himself. My Arbiter is over here. I'm going to try and rage down what I can, and I'm not going to build on that pad. I can't really afford it. It's more important to me right now that I do as much damage to this chieftain as I can. And once again, as you can see, I'm making sure that my jackals stay close to my base, so if he does try and vortex, it's going to sponge and it's not going to be worth his money. So I see that at this point his plan of action is going to be trying to take my supply elevator, and so I'm going to try and rage him down a little bit of health. I have no idea what he's going to be porting in, but I need to make sure that I actually port in before him and I can get these elevators secured. I stayed in rage mode so I could rage his first few units that he ported through, and I'm racing for the tower, and I actually got the tower, so that's good. And his chieftain has taken so much damage in this rush from all my jackals that he dies. And right now it's looking really good for me in this situation. You can pretty much X out the leader advantage because the leader advantage now is well, it's still existent, but the really big advantage for Brute against an Arbiter in 1v1s is probably in the first 5 minutes of the game. And since he got completely outplayed, it's the leader advantage is not as big as it was. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm rage running straight to his elevator, and I'm going to steal that from him.
Local units.
And I'm only on one hall right now, and I'm probably going to work on getting to a citadel before I jump up another hall again. I'm going to scout out his base, see what's going on there.
Warehouse upgrade.
Now my Arbiter's taking a lot of damage, so that's not very good. It looked like he recycled his hall and he's rebuilding his hall. I'm not sure what that was all about. He probably destroyed it while in the rush so he could vortex more, or he gave up on the grunt since I had so many jackals. Kind of just fog of war, scouting, clicking reactors, looking over everything. And so I beat him to Citadel, and I'm going to beat him to the double hall. So I have quite a lead on him. I have both the elevators. Once again, the advantage in a sense for him though is that he has a full health leader, and his leader is also a lot better than the Arbiter with dealing with hooks.
Defense gauntlet. Research. All units.
Keeping a close eye on his base. See that he is going to be putting up a double hall.
Hall complete.
Now since I have both elevators, I'm actually going to be triple hauling. You can get away with triple unit production, factories, summits, anything like that on this map as long as you have the elevators to help you out. You can see on the mini map the Brute is coming in towards my supply elevator. There's nothing I can really do about that. I'm going to lose that.
Enemy engagement.
He doesn't even have shields on his jackals at this point. Why I am spamming a whole bunch of jackals right now is because I'm aiming for complete hook control. It's really hard to do, especially when my leader has no health on him and I have to deal with the Brute, because the Brute vortex is really going to make a difference. All he has to do is have at least, I would say, 2/3 of the amount of jackals as me and his leader, maybe even a third or half of the jackals that I have and his leader, and he'll be able to shut down my unit production. Or the jackal comparison won't match evenly because my rage is ineffective. I don't have really any health on my Arbiter. I can't really use him. As you can see, I destroyed my third hall. I destroyed my third hall simply because there's no point. I don't have the other supply elevator, so I can't really afford it anymore. Now I'm going to send this wave over here just in case he's camping it, because I feel like if I go over here and kill his chieftain or do a lot of damage, I can really just end the game. I haven't dealt with any of the reactors. I probably should have done that a little bit earlier, split at least 5 over to the reactor and taken that. Instead I went for this all-in assuming his Brute was going to be over here. So I'm going to retake my elevator and scan over the reactors. I know he's over there. So we're going to try the all-in push here on his reactor, and we see that his Brute is actually already gone from the reactor. So this is where it's going to get a little tricky, simply because he's going to beat me to beam rifle since he's in that hook. So this is where I'm splitting up my jackals. I'm sending quite a wave over there. And it looks like he just got beam rifle. So I'm getting beam rifle now, and I'm going to try and get over to this third hook. Hopefully I can hold it long enough that I can get Supreme Gauntlet, and then I shouldn't have to worry about hooks the rest of the game.
Reactor claim.
What is needed?
So it's kind of the Olympians' move now. I don't know where he's going, but I see that he already built a vampire, so I don't know if he was assuming that I was going vamps or if I were going banshees. Looks like he's coming back to his old hook. This works out well for me because I actually have a really good position. I just got beam rifle. Except the bad thing is that his chieftain's in a good spot where you can't really hit him. So I just lost a whole bunch of jackals, and I really lost that engagement when it was looking kind of in my favor, simply because it looked like I had the numbers and I had everything right in the spot where it needed to be to defend. The problem was that his chieftain was just in an unhittable spot from the jackals, and that really turned the tide. So I'm going to go back over, try and take out his elevator, cut down his supplies. I did get Supreme Gauntlet teched, so that's the game changer right there. There's no way in hell he's going to be able to come close to me in that. And I'm expecting him to push up at my supply elevator, so I'm sending everything over there. We're going to throw the house at him. Should be time for me to start worrying about getting my Arbiter back out and maybe teching him simply because he has vampires. I'm not going to worry about building any air. On this map, air is pretty good, but as long as you have all the hooks and they have air, you can easily find a way to get air out yourself.
Supreme Gauntlet research.
So we're going to take out his chieftain here. Simple enough, it looks like he wasn't even paying attention. And I have my supply elevator on lockdown.
Enemy engagement.
And we do have Supreme Gauntlet now, so we're going to go back, take him out of that hook. We're going to also take him out of his elevator if we're lucky over there. And it looks like, yeah, we're gonna take all the hooks here in 2 seconds, and that's pretty much gonna be the game.
Local units.
So ideally this should never happen, especially in a high level game. Brute should always win this matchup. And Olympians should be quitting here pretty soon. He has no hooks. Since he does have air, I've started to throw up some turrets. And I will be teching my Arbiter to rage. And I can slowly just get air out myself, and that'll be the game.
Turret complete. Enemy engagement.
And as you can see, even those jackals have a line of sight simply because of the vampires. That's what a lot of 1v1 players like to do, is they'll build 1 or 2 vamps and lead them in front of the jackals. It gives you a line of sight the first shot, which will help immensely in jackal battles. Even though he has that, since I have the tech on him, it doesn't help him out too much.
Fiendish return research. Turret complete.
What now? Toward glory.
And so I'm also starting to get my summit up, the Tech 2 vampires, turrets. There's nothing he can do. He's only got 1 elevator. I got the other 3. I can send my RB back over there and retake it. But I think he's going to resign here shortly, and that's going to be the end of the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed another 1v1 high level Arbiter, and thank you. Have a good day.
I am here. About time.
Summit complete. Vicious blades research. Local units.
What shall I do?
Local units.